Good morning. Let me see, that light's kind of just shining a bit weird. Cool. How is everybody today? Today we're going to do some breathing exercises and we are going to look at the worst case scenario. And why do we go to the worst case scenario, and how we can catch ourselves and move using our thoughts and our feelings and our breathing and our tapping to go from the worst case scenario, morning Susan, to the best case scenario. Now, a great example already of this is we've been doing this, morning Izzy, we've been doing this 2-week intermittent fasting challenge. Morning Leslie. And it's been a phenomenal success. The feedback I've been getting is just like amazing. Simply, morning Sean. It's wild outside today, darling. You're right, it's windy. So all we've been doing is compressing the food into a window of 6, 8, 10 or perhaps 12 hours. Morning Mary. So even if you haven't changed your diet at all, if you compress what you normally eat into a different time frame, you will have a result when you give the body some fasting time. Morning Clementine. So the idea is to have it between 12 and 18 hours of the body put no food into the body apart from black coffee or tea or any herbal drink, something with no calories in it. So the body is getting a rest for all that time. Because what we need, morning Leslie, you need to really understand is our bodies heal themselves, right? So, but we need to move out the way and we need to give the body the time and the space and the respect so that it can do the job that it will always strive to do for us, which is homeostasis, which simply means balance. Now, inadvertently over the years, we have interfered in a lot of our natural cycles. The natural light cycle, the natural fresh air cycle, the food cycles, the sleep cycles. We have interfered almost in every single thing that keeps the body well, that allows the body to restore, repair and regenerate. We've interfered in it thinking we know better because we perceived ourselves to be out with nature. We perceived ourselves to be disconnected from others and from ourselves. We see ourselves very much from a selfish point of view. Me. I'm me and you guys are all you out there. We have completely lost our interdependency with each other. And this is costing us greatly. And I think the great thing about the pandemic has been the fact that we're really understanding our human relationships and connections are extremely valuable. And perhaps we had to have some of them taken away to fully understand exactly how important our human connection is. Anyway, what I want to talk to you today about is about going into the worst case scenario. We're going to do some breathing first and how we can catch ourselves. Now, know that going to the worst case scenario is a natural reptilian response, survival response, okay? That is the response that literally helped us to survive. So we're like, what's the worst case scenario? And we start to think, well, I could die. I could get eaten. I could get killed or whatever it is. It's a really horrible scenario if another tribe was coming to attack your tribe. So we and then we go to the worst case scenario and with this amazing genius process that the body does, closing down certain systems, displacing the blood into the glutes and the quads and helping us and emptying the bowels very often, nausea sometimes, emptying the digestive tract, so the body becomes a lean, mean, running fighting machine. And then we work out from the worst case scenario how to get to the best case scenario. So, but the problem is today, morning Mark, we are in that worst case scenario primarily because of our minds. We're going over, and also people we're around are affecting and infecting us with fear. And as soon as you start to get scared and fearful, which is what the government is doing and the mainstream media is doing all day, every day, whether you believe in the narrative or not is irrelevant. Fear is never going to help you not die of COVID or not get COVID or any of your loved ones. It just doesn't help, ever. In fact, it can actually ruin the time that we've all got left, and none of us really know how long that's going to be. So fear has to be released and managed so that we can make the best decisions for us, for our kids, our grandkids, our families, our friends, our communities. So always start with that. Where am I at? How am I feeling in this moment? And how can I get from the worst case to the best case? Now, when we have, and I'm going to reiterate some of the information I've already given you, but I think it's so important. Our emotions drive our thinking, and our thinking drives our emotions. Okay, so they go together. Anger, angry thoughts, angry feeling. Loving thoughts, loving feeling. Apathetic feeling, apathetic thoughts. So as you move up the emotional scale, your thinking will change with you. And if you let go from apathy into courage or acceptance, you will have a very instant feeling change and thinking change. Suddenly, all your problems are down here in the contracted cellular states. And as soon as you release, breathe into the higher states, most of the problems either disappear or appear differently. Okay? And what happens is, when you start to get scared and fearful, you look out at the world through that emotion, through that veil, through these glasses, and all you see are problems. The people in your house, the people at your work. Suddenly, all you can see are the problems with these people. And then magically, when you let go of the feeling, when you allow the cells to expand and release, you'll start to see the good side. Or like, well, they're not that bad after all. And they're not changing. It's you that's changing. And again, I keep going on about it. When you are having a hard time and you're reacting to the world, it's not the world's fault. You need to, well, maybe it is a little bit, but you ain't going to change the world. So we need to get back inside and focus on our power and the things that we personally have control over, which is our vibration, our emotions, our feelings. Now, why nobody teaches us that we are the master of our emotions and not the victim, because trust me, I have been the victim of my feelings and emotions in my past for a long, long time. I had no idea I could change my perspective, and it all comes down to perspective. We live in a subjective universe, not objective. So the people that are clinging on to their worldview and saying, this is the right way, why can't you see it my way? That's simply all it is. It's your perspective. And other people have another perspective, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. That's how it works. And we're filtering our perspective through our past, through our culture, through our experiences. That is how it works. So if, for me, who has been vaccine damaged, I filter it through that perspective. If you have not been vaccine damaged and nobody in your family or world has, then you'll be filtering it through another perspective. That's obvious. That's a very extreme case. That just know that all we're ever doing is filtering it through our life experience. And there's nothing right or wrong with that. But what we have to know is that we have to let go of the past. Otherwise, our perspective will never change. And, you know, I was having a really interesting conversation last night about, somebody may be able to correct me in this, I think it was in Singapore, when they brought in immigrants or people from different parts of the world, they mixed them all up. Instead of putting all the people from one place in one part of the city, they just mixed them all up. So people got to know each other. and then understood each other, understood their different values, their different beliefs, their different perspectives. And that's what makes us human. And now, of course, we don't really know people because we've lost that human connection and that interaction and the healthy respect for differences of opinion based on what's happened to you in the past. If you've had a parent who was very abusive and cruel, then you will carry that with you. That's a normal thing to do because you have to be very aware that people can be cruel in this world. And that doesn't mean to say that you act as if everybody's cruel, but you have an awareness that cruelty exists. And this is the thing that we're working on right now. You know, I think you can be in a relationship and know that somebody is imperfect. We're now in a relationship with our government and we're fighting each other over the narrative. Some people believe that they don't always have our best interests at heart, and others believe that we can trust them with our lives. And then there's all the variety in between. So really, that will be to do with your level of education and understanding and the amount of research you've done into what these people have done in the past. And again, your own past, you know, with human beings. Give people a bit of power. Do they always use it for the greater good of all? And then if you've never really done any research in that, if you've always lived by the rules, then you will be terrified by people who want to break through and break these rules. Have only ever been made by other humans anyway, based on their past. So you get the picture. So what I want to do today is we're going to do some breathing. We're going to take the intermittent fasting. So already people are starting to worry about what happens when the challenge is over. Will I gain the weight again? Will I lose my energy? Will I lose my clarity? People have been having phenomenal results with this challenge. It's just so exciting because normally with the food thing, as you know, I'm a little bit cynical about it. I just think, well, people are not going to change what they eat. But it turns out that they can actually change the time without too much stress, and they're getting the benefits, which is just phenomenal. And again, for me, I'm getting that feedback to understand that this is one of the things that people can do without adding in more stress. So, but already people say, well, what when the challenge is over? Well, here's my advice is that you keep intermittent fasting in your daily life. And I'm a big believer in the 80-20 rule. If no diet works, if you don't adhere to it, you have to find something you can sustain. If you go back to doing what you always did, you're going to get what you always got. Now, you know that logically. So it may be, right now I've been doing the 18-6. And to be honest, that's working perfectly well for me. And what I will do, because obviously when it comes to the weekends and maybe you want to have food with some of your family, your friends, you might want to change the time round. Well, another guideline is finish your last meal 3 hours before you go to bed. And that means your wine too, or whatever it is, your beer, whatever you like to have. And then the body gets that 3 hours to digest the food before you go to sleep. Now, people have been reporting better sleep, less pain, quite dramatic weight loss, more energy, more clarity, and real joy about this of taking control. Now, these are all pretty amazing things considering all you've really done is adjust the time that you're eating. But when we think about the worst case, what if I put all my weight back on? What if I do this? What if I do that? Well, that's a perfectly normal way to think. So don't beat yourself up about it. It's the mind. And we're learning how to take our power back from the mind. Now, let me give you two valuable pieces of advice. Never ever forget this, okay? None of our thoughts, 60 to 80,000 a day, are true. And none of our feelings are real. Now, I'm sure there'll be a lot of minds going, that's rubbish! All my thoughts are true and all my feelings are real. I am not invalidating what you think and what you feel. Absolutely not. But if you want to cling on to the belief that everything you think is true and there is no way that this perception can be shifted, then probably this is the wrong video for you. Because let me tell you, in the last 3 years, my own personal experience with beliefs has been shattered. Absolutely shattered. And if you're not willing to look at yourself and look at your perceptions and realise that that's all it is, your perception filtered through your past, and that it may not be 100% accurate, if you're not willing to be open to that possibility, then you're hanging on to your control and your need to be right. And if you're doing that, you're wasting a lot of valuable energy, and maybe the time is just not right for you to do this work on yourself. If you're getting really triggered by what I say, and a lot of people are, I don't mean to trigger them, I only speak my truth, but that will trigger some people, then just switch me off, unfollow me, unfriend me, do whatever you need to do. But if you are ready to explore the possibility that your perception can be expanded, opened up, challenged for much greater levels of joy and connection, then you're in the right place, and let's do some work on that. Let me just tell you why. It was 3 years yesterday I left to go to South America, and I was challenged in my belief system. I took plant medicine once. It wasn't really about that, although that took me on a journey into a place that I'd never been before, really. But it was the stories, the narratives that people had there that was very different from the narratives that I'd been given, born and brought up in Scotland. And what happens when somebody challenges your belief system? The first thing that's a lot of rubbish. That can't be right. Because the story you've been given at first is the one that you will cling on to. And people kill each other for their belief system. So think about that. We're still doing that. People are still killing each other because they don't believe the same things. It's mental. And that anger that comes out in the vehement, because we want to hold on to our version of reality. And that's normal as well. But the thing is now we're having to go, oh, maybe everything is not as it seems. Maybe the narrative that I've been given is not accurate. And maybe I can be brave enough to expand and explore this myself. So my belief system was challenged. And I'm still doing, because I'm listening to a lot of stuff that really challenges me. And I have to stop watching it sometimes because it's too much. And I just have to go, whoa, 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 because my brain is a processor. And like everybody else's brain, sometimes I just can't listen to a lot of the stuff that's out there. I have to process it. And that takes time. That takes maybe a little bit of light entertainment. That takes absolutely a commitment to myself to keep my mind open to all possibilities and probabilities. Because like your emotional guidance system, we know with PTSD that people, and the way we currently treat PTSD with drugs, is that we narrow in people's ability to feel. So they don't feel pain, but they don't feel love either. So the courage that you need if you want to feel unconditional love is the courage to feel unconditional fear. Like, what? Everything's been rattled. My cage is being completely rattled. That is the extreme. You can't have one without the other. And that's where the courage comes in, because most of us, we just want the unconditional love, but we don't want any of this negative stuff. And I think this with our children too. Negative feelings and you're needing reassurance in your world is completely normal. We need to teach our kids that it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to worry what people think about you. That's all part of the growth process, and teach them how to manage it. I'm doing that with my grandchildren. I'm not sure how successful I am, but it's something that I'm really working on and learning to help them manage their emotional pain, their embarrassment. And they're my wee grandson, he wants to shut off. He just goes, he's very male, right, okay, I'm embarrassed, keep me away. My wee granddaughter, she cries. So I show her how to manage that. And not to say that it's, it's to teach them that it's not real, that this too will pass. Anyway, I've gone way off on a tangent. My point is, be open to your belief systems and your perspective being changed for a higher perspective. And this is what waking up, that term, is. When you wake up to higher perspectives, and you may not feel it, you may not be in it yet, you may not want to be in it, but you're aware that they're there, suffering dissolves. And that is the real reason why you would want to change your perspective, is to move your cells out of suffering. Okay, so let's do some breathing, and then we'll get to the worst case scenarios and the best case scenarios. So if you have a deep fear, if you have a worst case scenario, like I'll put on the weight again, I'll whatever it is, just pop it into the thing right now, and once into the chat. Once we've done the breathing exercise, I'm going to take you into dissolving your worst case scenario. Your first step is being aware that you're going there. The mind is like, the problems, oh aye, but, if, what, should, would, could, all of that. Why? That's the mind coming in. And then I'm going to show you how you can dissolve that and use your free will to override your past and your programming, to take the mind to where you want it to go, the best case scenario. Now, being cynical, we all are cynical beings. This is neuroscience, trust me. Everything I teach you is based and grounded in deep research and personal experience. I would not dare to bring you anything that I had not really, really, truly worked on myself first. And I research everything, and I find the things that are easiest. Quite simple. Because I'm lazy. I don't want to be spending 4 hours a day in meditation. Not interested. What works fast for me, and that's the only thing I can ever bring you. And then I can bring you lots of other things that you can tap into and investigate if you're attracted to it. Right, yes, Stephanie, that's a brilliant one. Trust me, that has come to me as well. Can our businesses and our ideas ever come to fruition? Yes, we will work on that. So let's just start, of course, with the 4-7-8 breath. Make the 4-7-8 breath your absolute daily practice. It takes a minute. Everybody's got a minute. Do it in your bed when you wake up. I don't know about you, but some mornings I'm waking up right now with this feeling of stress in my chest, which I don't get involved in. I just go, there's energy in my chest, and I breathe it away. Now, I don't know why that's there. I could make up a story as to why there would be stress in my body, but it's probably not going to be true. So it's really important. Love back at you, Nearly. Thanks a million for everything that you're doing and sharing for me. The stress in the body, you don't need to know why it's there. The mind, that's mind stuff. All you need to do is know that you can breathe it away, okay? So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and out for 8. Just do it with me. Tongue on the gum, just above the teeth there when you're breathing out. Okay, 4 rounds. Breathe in. Hold. And out. And in. Hold. And out. And in. Hold. And out. And in. Hold. And out. Okay, just some free breathing, nice and easy. Okay, and you probably feel just a little bit calmer. Remember, the body talks to us in feelings. So feel, get used to feeling. This is a whole new language that Western culture has completely ignored. Following your heart, even when other people are telling you, no, you can't do this, you can't say that, you can't buy that, you can't do, you can't. You have to just tap in, and this is where we're going really, really strongly now, is listening to our heart, not allowing the programming in the past and other people's points of view to hold us back. And this takes courage, this work. Real courage, but it's fun. And it's fun when you do it with other like-minded souls. Okay. Let's do the bellow breath. This is my new favourite. So I've taught you a few times before. We're going to do 3 rounds of it. And it's just breathing in, you fill the belly right up. And then you push the belly back to the base, back to the spine as you empty the lungs through your nose. So it's in and out. So it's like you're pumping up a lilo. You're really pumping that back, pulling the belly in. All your internal organs are getting massaged, and your digestive system's getting a hand. You're probably still fasting if you're on the fasting, but you're really moving things in there. You're calming the vagus nerve, starting to change your pH, and starting to increase your electromagnetic field. Pretty cool, eh? Just for a simple change in breathing. This is your superpower, one of your superpowers. And remember, we're always trying to breathe in and out through the nose. If you can't do that 24/7, no problem. Start where you are and just increase that process. Okay. So we're just going to do about 20. I don't know, I'll lose count, but we'll stop when I stop, and then we're going to breathe in and breathe out, and we're going to do a controlled pause. So you're going to hold your breath. And this is when we start to play around with the oxygen and the carbon dioxide levels. It's really cool. And I want you to stay inside the body and see how it feels. Remember, the language of the subconscious are the feelings. And a lot of the feelings are old and to do with the past. And we're making a conscious decision now to let go of the past, to move into harmony, and to work truly with the heart as this powerful organ that it is. Okay, so just go with me or do it in your own pace. I'm starting this quite slow because I think it's better to get the technique, and then as you get better, you'll speed it up quite naturally yourself. Okay, so breathe in. Three more. All the way in. And all the way out. And hold your breath for your first controlled pause. Observe the energy. Your cells are delighted that you're conscious, alert, and aware. The cells are expanding, the body's resetting, it's doing it all itself. You just hold your breath there for as long as you can. Stretch it, but don't stress it. And when you're ready, breathe in. Pull your pelvic floor muscles, your abdominals, and squeeze that energy into your brain. Squeeze it. Squeeze. Activate the pineal gland. Create that electricity. And let it go. and just relax. Listen to your belly rumbling, mine is. Okay, we're going to do another round. Same thing, do it in your own pace. Really focus in on your forehead. And remember, just take it easy. If you're not used to doing a lot of conscious breathing, you will get lightheaded, you will get tingly. You want to be safe, etc. And if you feel it's too much, just pull back and stop and join in again. You've got the power. You know, I know we need to be mindful when we're doing this work, but you know what to do with your body. Play about, go easy if there's a little bit of change coming in and it's making you fearful. If you're not fearful, just really go for it and really take control back of your health and happiness. Okay, breathe in. Three more. All the way in. And all the way out. And into your second controlled pause. You may need to blow your nose if you've been using the nose. And I invite you to close your eyes and feel. Look round the cells that make up this container for your soul. Observe. Allow the magic, the healing, the harmony to rebalance, restore. And then when you're ready, breathe in. Pelvic floor muscles, abdominals, and squeeze the energy into the brain. Squeeze. Keep your focus in your forehead and squeeze. Squeeze that energy. Come on, own your power. You have it. Become the alchemist. And let it go. And just relax. And again, just observe. Keep your eyes closed and focus in on the invisible. Everything that we can see is a particle, but we're now moving on to the wave. Focus in on the energy. Feel it. Feel the expansion. And intend to let go of everything and anything that no longer serves you. Set it free now. Okay, we're going to do our third and final round of breathing. I invite you to go for it. Take your power back. Understand you are the controller of this energy system, not the victim. You can breathe over, you can override any of the symptoms and systems in there. That's the power that we have. We are absolutely all powerful when you start to really truly understand this work. How your electromagnetic field is affected by you, your intention, your attention, and your beliefs. And your inner knowing. It goes beyond believing. It goes into knowing. And the way to know is to get the experience. And the way to get the experience is to practice and get your own experience. Okay, so let's do that. Breathing again. My nose is itchy. So fill in the belly. Come on, mean it. Last 5. All the way in. And all the way out. Your last controlled pause. Coming into the body, close your eyes. Focus on your forehead. Let go. Trust and surrender to the process. Allow your cells to bathe in the ecstasy of oxygen. Allow your cells to rearrange themselves, harmonize, balance. And when you're ready, breathe in. Squeeze all the energy, use your intrinsic muscles, your abdominals, up through the heart center, through the base of the brain, into the pineal gland. Squeeze that energy up, up, squeeze. Keep these muscles tight and push the energy into your beautiful brain. And then let it go. Okay. Just let go of any stress, any resentment, anger, fear. Allow it all to dissolve as you surrender to the energy you created. And just some nice free breathing, relaxed. Okay, so now what we're going to do is think about the worst case scenario. It may be something to do with the body. We have to be brave enough to look at the worst case scenario. Because right now it's just a thought. It's in thought form. This is heaven, yes, exactly, Izzy. This is heaven. So the thing is never to be scared of our thoughts, to identify that that is all that they are, a thought that we can choose to believe or not. And when we can be brave enough to go, oh, there's a thought. What if I die? What if I lose my business? What if I end up disabled? All these thoughts that we don't want to look at, we don't want to even dream of, they're just thoughts. And the more we're repelled by them, then the more energy that they are given. So right now, the 3 areas we always look at is our relationships, our health, and our wealth. And clearly wealth is a big consideration for a lot of us that are self-employed. Every single thing pretty much that I do has been shut down. Our health, our mental health, the mental health of our children and our loved ones, and the worry of COVID, and the relationships. You know, a lot of relationships are breaking down. Thank you, Mark, for the amazing work you're doing. Our relationships, will they ever be the same? And if we're taking things personally and striking out at our loved ones and people that we previously thought were friends, we need to make peace with that. I think we need to understand that we're in this time of duality and polarity. But again, all we can ever do is take it back to, what if I died becomes, well, darling, What if you fly? So what if I die becomes what if I fly? So, and a lot of that can come down to our relationship with how we perceive or what we perceive death to be. And again, that's something I've done a lot of work on over the last 40 years. So I understand that it's an inevitability and I don't get to choose when I go. I just hope it's quick. But again, that's all in the stars. So we have to be able to talk about these things and not fear them, because fear itself is the only thing that we have to worry about. So what I want you to do is just think about your worst case scenario. What if my relationships break down? What if I'm left? What if I'm alone? What if my health breaks down? What if my wealth, if I'm left with no money, can't pay my mortgage, can't feed my children? All of these thoughts that are perfectly normal to have. And all we're going to do is take the charge out of them. So just for now, as best you can, observe the energy around these thoughts, the what ifs. You feel it in the body somewhere. And just allow that feeling to expand and dissolve. Just let it go. And then just tap with me. Even although I've been fearing the worst, even although I can't help thinking about the worst case scenario, even although I know I shouldn't think about this because I don't want to attract it, I can't help it. My mind keeps going there. What if, what if, what if? What if the worst case scenario happens? And there's nothing I can do about it. What if I'm not powerless? What if I am powerless? What if there's nothing I can do? What if tapping and releasing doesn't work? How can tapping your head help this mess, this madness that we're all in? What if? What if, what if, what if? Even though I'm having all these thoughts and feelings, and even although I sometimes believe my darkest, deepest thoughts that I don't even want to voice to anybody, but even although I'm having all these feelings and these polarities, and even although it terrifies me and makes me sad and angry and all of these human emotions, I deeply and completely love, trust and accept myself. Even although I go to the worst case scenario, even although I go to the dark side of the thinking, even although I find it difficult to believe that this can all work out for the greater good of all, even although I can't think of others right now because I'm got too much to worry about myself, even although I'm angry and resentful and bitter and disappointed and furious and all the emotions that I'm getting to feel thanks to the current situation. But I deeply and completely love, trust and accept myself. Okay, take a deep breath. We're going to work through this, so if you're getting a lot of emotion coming up right now, that's completely normal. It's just energy. Remember, we're going to release it. You might feel your body changing in temperature. Mine is. Just allow. That's it. Just keep it going. Allow that energy. It's like you're the pressure cooker. You've just taken the lid off and you're letting all the steam out. Let it all go. Let it all go. Worst case scenarios. Believe in your thoughts. Believe in you're a limited being. All of that. Just let it all go. Take your arms wide like this. Mean it. Know it. You have the power to let go of your fear. Okay. Now we're going to tap around on... Sorry, my nose is really itchy. I think it's because I've been breathing through it. So let's tap around our power. I'm now open to the possibility that I can let this fear go. I can take my thoughts from the worst case scenario to the best case scenario. What if my relationships can thrive during these times through open, honest communication? What if I can use this time to heal the body and heal my emotional trauma and abuse from the past? What if my business takes an amazing new turn? And I only have to be patient for this to unfold. What if I catch myself every time I think the worst and quickly turn it in to the best case scenario? What if I allow myself to expand and let go of all the past experiences that no longer serve me? What if I can truly understand the power of letting go in order to be free, in order to become a much more high vibrational version of myself? What if I allow my default setting to be joy? What if I allow myself to trust and surrender? Because this is all about trust. Trust and letting go and allowing my incredible, fertile imagination to think about the best case scenario. I can pay my bills and have an abundance left over. I have loving relationships where we communicate transparently and allow each other to be. I have the health and happiness. The wind's whistling in the window there. I have the health and the happiness, and I am content with everything in this moment. I allow myself to stay out the past and to stay out the future and to be in the now. My cells only understand this moment, and I allow them to expand in joy, because that is the choice I have. Deep breath. Okay. How does that feel? I don't want to leave anybody with residue of the feeling. So let's do the 478 again. And remember, it's only energy, and I don't mean that to sound, again, people can take the wrong perspective when I try to simplify this. I know that a lot of people have suffered and are suffering. Thank you, Diane. But what we really need to know is that we have the power to change how we feel. We have the power to let go of the suffering. Now, that may seem out with your reach right now, but if you want to believe that, we also have the power to change our beliefs. I am open to the possibility that I too am powerful. I'm open to the possibility of laying down new neural pathways that allow me to default to the best case scenario. Thank you, Emma. I'm delighted that you enjoyed it. My absolute desire and intention for the people of Scotland and all over the world is to understand that we're not a victim of the past and our emotions and our feelings and our stories and our perceptions, that we have the power to choose and to change how we feel and see ourselves within the universe. And, you know, I have gone through 3 decades of investigation and searching for the answers for the suffering that a lot of people are going through and will go through. And a nutrition, diet, emotional release, everything, you name it, every form of breathing, every form of exercise, every form of eating. And do you know what it all comes down to? Faith. Faith that we are always protected, and we always will be, and no matter whether we die or not, or somebody that we love dies or not, that they're free, that we are free, and we're having these experiences. And I think to expand our understanding of what death is, because ultimately the two things that we are scared most of, time, which is a construct of the conscious mind, and death, which is also a construct. And it's all about how we see ourselves in it. Now, I never used to have faith at all. My dad was a proclaimed atheist. And although I don't really think he was, but he said he was. He said, if you were going to worship anything, worship the sun. That's what gives you life. And I do worship the sun. And when my aunt died when I was 27, and I watched her dying, and I realised I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop her from dying. There was nothing. It was my first true understanding that I was not in control, because I would have stopped her from dying if I could have. And they got the minister to sit with me to try and calm me down and to help ease my grief. And at that stage, I knew it wasn't the last I'd seen of her, but I didn't have any faith. So I had this sort of understanding, yeah, we'll meet again. But I didn't know how to quantify that. So I've spent a lot of time investigating what death means to me. And you know, the other thing that I realised is you can believe whatever you want. Isn't that mental? Because all a belief is a thought that you've had over and over again. And most of the time, it's been given to you by some well-meaning human. So if your beliefs are not serving you, you can change them. And I'm working on the next challenge, which is going to be around that expanding consciousness, beliefs, etc. I'll let you know as soon as it comes through me exactly what it's going to be. But meantime, practice. You have the power. We all have the power to change how we feel. And then it's just breaking through the lethargy of, I can breathe my way out of this, but I'm not going to. And then the voice saying, yes, you are. Just do your breathing. No, because sometimes we want to wallow in our misery. And there's nothing wrong with that either. It's a choice. But as soon as you become aware that you're choosing, that is when you get to make the decision consciously. You get to override the program, the past, and you get to truly use your free will. Is it easy? No. Do I do it all the time? No. I am a work in progress, just like the rest of us. But what I do know is that these things work. It's exciting beyond belief when you get into this stuff. But see, trying to do it alone, it's no fun apart from anything else. Doing it with a collective tribe. The Heal Scotland movement has got to be about a groundswell, and I believe that comes through information, education, but the most important one is community and support. Being of service to others. If you already know this stuff, then give it out. This is the time where the world needs to know and understand. So I think you've probably had enough of me. Practice your breathing and keep on keeping on. Do the things that you can do and that you don't need to stress about. If your fasting is too much for you, cut the time down. Be patient. Be as patient with yourself as you would be with a child or another loved one or your pet. Self-love, self-patience and understanding, that's the key. Remember, your cells are listening. And if you're judging your cells, you're judging yourselves. So, love yourselves, and huge love to all of you, and thanks for joining. Spread the word, spread the love, share the app, the YouTube channel, everything's on there. It's all about understanding. Let this practice become embodied in your subconscious so that you get it effortlessly and easily. Okay, huge love. Thanks, guys. Please post your feedback. Let me know how you're getting on. I absolutely need to know how this is working and what help you need. Okay, it makes perfect sense. Fantastic. Okay, ciao. Have a great day.